Morning.
Hey!
And welcome to another live episode of the Kindness Project Live. Where our volume is well and truly on. And
We have sound!
we have sound. And we are feeling good this morning. I'm joined by a girl who puts a right leg in, a right leg out, in, out, shakes it all about. It's Charlotte Dames.
I'm joined by the man who does the okie dokie. It's Chris Dames.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Good,
Yes.
good. You seem very positive today, which is always a good thing. Why did you have a good night's sleep?
No.
Is that the reason? No,
No.
no. You didn't. Okay, fair enough. Are you having trouble sleeping in lockdown?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sleep patterns are changing a bit, and I don't know if our live audience feels the same way. Morning Trey, morning dudes, morning to Russ, and morning to Sarah who's watching. Thank you for tuning in once more. We really appreciate it. And yeah, so the Okie Kokie, for some weird reason, you just started singing the Okie Kokie this morning. What was that?
You said you put your left arm in as a joke, and I just kept going.
Yeah.
It just didn't
It's a good
stop.
song. What we want to see is your Okie Kokie videos for the Kindness Project.
yes.
That would be an amazing thing to see. And we have got a bumper show today because we didn't do a live show yesterday, so we've got loads to talk about, loads to catch up on. And I've realised I didn't switch Audacity on, so I'm going to get in trouble from Russ now. So we have got loads to catch up on. Firstly, I want to talk about John Krasinski's Good News Network. And episode 2 of that came out, and it was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that was the one you showed me last night, wasn't it?
it was. Morning, Serena. How are you? Hope you're doing well today. And yeah, it's all good. So, John Krasinski got the entire cast of Hamilton to sing the song to a girl who missed the show because of lockdown, but got a live Zoom. Zoom must be minting it at the minute, mustn't they? A live Zoom with all of the cast of Hamilton, including a man that you're quite a big fan of, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it didn't just have Lin-Manuel Miranda and the entire cast of Hamilton, but it also had Emily Blunt in the video, which was...
Yeah, I haven't seen the new Mary Poppins yet, have you?
Yeah.
Any good?
Yeah. Well, we went and watched it in cinema, and it was really good.
You know what? I remember.
just like Mary Poppins.
I remember the original Mary Poppins movie being part of my childhood, and I didn't want to. Like, you don't want to ruin it by. It's like the old Willy Wonka movie. You don't want to. I didn't think the new one was as good because
I liked
like the
the
Gene
old
Wilder one's the one that I grew up with.
I can never tell which one's the old one and which one is the new one, because there's one where they all walk out the factory, and it's my favourite scene. But they're all like the different things that have happened to them.
Yeah.
Like the boy who went up the tube comes out covered in chocolate. And
What's the matter with that? Do you know what I mean?
That's the best scene. And she comes out and she's really flexible and she's purple now.
You know what? Genuinely, I'm spending half a lockdown eating cake. I'm going to look like Augustus Gloop by the end
Homemade
of it.
Reese's Pieces.
Oh, you know what? They are. They taste amazing, but I am conscious that I am eating a lot and moving less at the minute, so I'll have to be careful with that. Morning, Nick. Hope you're doing well, mate. All good. And then you wanted to talk about animals, didn't you?
You asked me for a topic, and other than chicken nuggets and noodles, all I could think about was animals.
Tell us about animals then.
So, they're these things that live on the planet with us, like the trees, but I suppose
Right, sorry.
we're all...
Right, you start talking about animals and then you go, the trees. Make your mind up. Are you going to talk about the trees or the animals?
The animals, because in a sense, we're animals too, because we evolved from primates.
Primates? What's a primate? You didn't think that topic through, did you?
No, the
really?
first thing that came to mind that wasn't chicken nuggets and noodles.
Animals.
Animals.
Yeah, quite broad. Quite broad. So what I also want to talk about is share a couple of stories of amazing news that has happened to us and people we know over the past couple of days since we've been off. Big shout out to Nadine Stevenson, who, as well as being a client of mine, is friend of the show.
Yes.
does loads of good work, and she was on BBC Breakfast this morning with her Airbnb housemate.
Nice.
Because what happened is her Airbnb housemate moved in, effectively rented a room from Nadine.
Yeah.
She was a touring musician,
Yeah.
and then lockdown happened and she couldn't move out. Right? So this is an American girl who's, and again, it'll be broadcast on iPlayer, and I'm sure it will pop up on YouTube. Morning, Heidi. It's sure it'll pop on YouTube and stuff like that. But effectively, she moved into Nadine's house, rented a room, and couldn't move out because she couldn't fly anywhere, and she was effectively in lockdown. So she's doing concerts from Nadine's spare bedroom that she's renting from to her American audience primarily at midnight, which apparently is really fun for Nadine's neighbours. Big shout out for Nadine, who is doing that amazing work, and your sister and my youngest child is on Heart Radio tomorrow. So she's doing a little thing called Beat the Teacher.
Yes.
And she's going to be on Heart Radio with Jamie and Amanda, answering questions. But the weird thing is, we had the researcher from Heart phone us today to do a trial period, and I've never heard her quieter. I mean, genuinely.
Well, you didn't really hear her, did you?
I never heard her, full stop. So, literally, I think Heart Radio might be a bit worried that she's just going to go on and freeze.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think it's going to
She'll
happen?
be fine. She'll have her little stumble, and then she'll be so excited she won't stop talking.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
So, unofficial question of the podcast must be, when was the last time you were on the radio?
I don't think I've been on the radio.
I don't think you've been on the radio. I mean, you do host
I do host
a
a
semi-popular podcast.
Semi.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you for doing that. But you've been to, when I've been on the radio, you've been to the radio station a couple of times, haven't you? So, but yeah, well, the next step is to get you on. So like Sophie, you can just freeze and say nothing.
That would be me. The last few questions, I go, yup. And it's not even a yes/no question. I just
Did you
yep.
Did you do the podcast when you did your work experience?
Yes, I did.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been on. Are you cheating on me with another podcast? Is that what's happening? How dare you?
Perhaps I'm going to branch out and start my own podcast.
Are you doing this? You're telling people live. What? Come on, tell me about it. What's this new podcast you're going to branch out and be doing?
I don't know. I'm going to start writing a fiction podcast when I'm finished writing my book. And just kind of work with that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Is it going to be about animals?
No! It might be about cannibals, though.
A cannibal-related podcast. What audience are you looking for from that?
No idea.
No, mainly
idea.
cannibals, or is it for non-cannibals about cannibals?
I was thinking a non-cannibal audience, but a comedy about cannibals.
A comedy about cannibals.
Yep. It's called Cooking with Cannibals.
It's called Cooking with Cannibals. Unofficial question of the podcast. Would you listen to a podcast about cannibals? And a cannibal's cookbook, apparently. I don't know. So that was one thing. Sophie's on the radio. Justin said, last time I was on the radio, Justin's told me this story, was LBC around 8 years ago. And I was on monthly on a Friday late night on sex and relationships. He used to be an advisor on sex and relationships on LBC. And some of those stories, Justin, that you've told me about that, clearly aren't broadcastable, but all good. Morning, Danny. How are you? Hope you're doing well. One thing on a less positive side.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but we've had some instances of COVID impacting people that we know. And we've had a couple of deaths in not somebody who's super close to us, but people we know. Please social distance. If you're not, why not? It's so important to make sure that we're doing what we can. I think the kindest thing we can do at the minute is follow the rules, right? The kindest thing we can do is make sure that we're taking the medical evidence and listening to it. And if you're not, I'm sorry, you're not being particularly good to your fellow human being. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not good because like it's spreading like a wildfire.
Yeah, and it
might slow down.
It will slow down,
but only if we continue to kind of follow the rules that have been put in place. Because we never know what's going to happen, because things like this, they're unpredictable. Because not only could it spread, it could also mutate. Yeah. And then it could start to attack people worse. And if it gets into somebody that's, I don't know, resistant or something.
Yeah. But yeah. So please do what you can to follow the rules to make sure that we're all being kind to each other. Because I think social distancing, even though it doesn't feel that way, you want to give people a hug every now and again, is a kind act. So so really, really important to do that. Who mentioned me on an article he wrote the other day and the work we're doing on the Kindness Project. So massive. Shit. Glad that was on. Oh, there we are. We're back.
Hey!
We're back. Dodgy mic, clearly. So thank you to Brett for doing that. Really appreciate it. And then I'm going to get my glasses on, because I've got to read some stuff that was in the I newspaper on Saturday, because it's also been a good week for...
Don't read our listeners the I quiz.
What's the matter with the I quiz? I love the I quiz. Here's the I quiz. Let's give you a couple of questions from the I quiz. A national speed limit has been introduced to... What's a speed limit? A national speed limit has been introduced to safeguard British citizens living where? Which former MP is named chairman of UK Music? Are you switching off yet? Anyway, I'm not going to read that.
Questions on mythology.
I'm not going to read that. You're going to read some of the good news that's been happening this week elsewhere.
Oh, right. Friendly neighbourhood web slinger. Web slingers, plural. 2 men from Stockport have been dressing up as Spider-Man while out and about, much to the delight of local children. Jason Baird, 34, from Manchester, and his colleague Andrew have been flooded with requests to visit new areas.
Yeah.
It is Nike trainers, and I'm sure those are Adidas socks. You know what?
Kamal Farouqi, the 80-year-old with dual Iranian-British nationality, was able to return to his family in Britain 9 years after being arrested in Iran on spying charges. He was released from detention in Tehran in 2018, but it was only his week that his Iranian passport was renewed and he could go back home. Let's do that one.
This one?
Yeah.
Home fitness. James Campbell, a former international javelin thrower from Gloucestershire, spent his birthday running a marathon in his back garden, raising more than $20,000 for the NHS.
Amazing work. And I am thinking about doing a little run prior to my marathon training in the back garden, just back and forth. How many laps of our back garden do you reckon I need to do to run a marathon?
I don't know, but it'd be funny.
Would it be funny?
Yeah.
Would you set me up a little water station, and every time I went past...
Every time you went past, I just squish it in your face.
No, I wanted you to pass me a water. I can't believe it. I'm being betrayed. Firstly, you're going to start your own cannibal-related podcast, and then you're going to spray me with water.
Yeah, I might scrap the idea.
Apparently it's a good week for buzz cuts. With barbers closed, people in need of a haircut have resorted to shaving off their hair.
I'm gonna do it.
Mostly all of it.
I'm going to do it.
Are you going to do it?
I'm going to do it.
Are you going to do it on who?
On who, me?
On you. You're going to have a buzz cut.
I'm going to have a buzz cut.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds good to me. I might join you.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll do your buzz cut.
buddies.
Buzz buddies. I'll do your buzz cut and you can do my buzz cut.
Yeah, sure.
And last story.
Oh, let's do that one.
Last story is J.K. Rowling has announced plans to bring a bit of magic to people in lockdown with Harry Potter at Home, a digital hub designed to help parents, teachers and children. So that's all really good news in the iNewspaper. So all pretty positive stuff. Justin said, thank you for your podcast. You make me laugh and keep me company during my breakfast. You're more than welcome, my friend. And we've had about 3,500 downloads, views of the live shows so far. Keep on watching, keep on cheering with your friends. Hopefully it's cheering you up. It's the reason we do it, because it helps us keep motivated too. So thank you for that. And there's one person that we couldn't do this podcast without now. Who's that?
Dave Forsythe.
Yeah, why's that?
Reasons to be grateful. Silver
Slash
linings.
Silver linings. Dave continues to deliver silver linings to us so that we can read them out on the podcast every single day. We're live. And silver linings today, it's financial edition. If I haven't annoyed people enough by reading the iQuiz, I'm going to now. But listen, some of you do know I run a financial planning business. There is support and help out there if you're struggling financially. And there's loads of help that you can get access to at this current time. Some of that Dave's mentioned. The FCA announced last week that banks and other lenders must do a minimum of offer 0% on £500 of overdraft, freeze credit and store cars, loans and catalogue debt. There's loads of work around stopping mortgage payments as well. And if you're struggling financially, take a look at the furlough scheme and the scheme for the self-employed, because they might help you. On Tuesday, the 7th of April, which is today, Dave mentioned that air quality across the UK has improved dramatically because of the lockdown. And apparently it's gone from quite a high level of pollution to now down to a 3 because people are not
going out
in the cars. Yeah. So I think that what you said is the lockdown has been encouraged on us all to slow down and find new ways to fill our days. I've just realised that we haven't even done question of the podcast yet. It's been so jam-packed as a show, we haven't even done it yet. So today's question of the podcast is right there.
What's the best thing about your best friend?
So what's the best thing about your best friend? And you can get in touch with us in a variety of different ways. Do you want to...
So, if you are currently watching this, you are on our Facebook page.
Just
Woo!
comment. Just comment.
Welcome, guys. If you are not currently watching this, if you're currently listening to this, or you are watching this and you want to get in touch with us in other ways, we have an email, ola@thekindnessproject.co.uk. We have a Twitter, @OlaKindness. We have our website,
www.thekindnessproject.co.uk.
I got so used to just saying search it.
We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on MySpace, we're on Friends Reunited. What else are we on?
eBay.
eBay. Do you reckon one of our... Have you ever searched one of our T-shirts on eBay?
No one has bought one of our
you can
t-shirts.
buy Kindness Project T-shirts. I was sporting my one the other day. You haven't worn one yet?
I did, but that was when we were recording with the mic and not the camera, and
right.
It's now too small.
Oh, okay. So there is, if you ever look on the Kindness Project website, there is a little box that says merch, and you can buy Kindness Project branded phone cases and polo shirts and stuff like, and T-shirts and stuff like that. 100% of any proceeds we get from that goes straight to Charlotte. I mean, charity. Charity. But it genuinely does. It allows us to raise... We do this because we love it, yes. But it allows us to raise a bit of money for an amazing cause as well. And a big shout out to Trev, who I know is watching, because Trev, I asked people to get in touch, and I still want people to do this, get in touch with people we can interview live on future episodes of the Kindness Project. And Trev, thank you for that referral. We're just getting that interview remained. We're probably going to do a couple a week moving forward. And what I want to do is interview people that I haven't interviewed before to share their stories. But there are going to be some people out there, 80 to 90 people we've interviewed already over the past 2 years of the podcast that we're going to go back to because I think they're going to add genuine value. So, one other thing that I wanted to mention. A big shout out to a lady called Frances Barrett. Now, the reason that I'm mentioning Frances is because she's a social media lady. She runs a social media lady. She runs a social media business, and she's doing an amazing thing to support the NHS at the minute, which is. Can you just quickly talk about animals while I look up what Frances is doing?
Well, there are many different kinds of animals, and they are all similarly built to us, meaning
Go on.
in a way that they have, subcellular structures, and then cells,
Okay, done.
then organelles, and then organs, and then organ systems, and then they are organisms.
Welcome to the GCSE biology lecture by Charlotte Dames.
That's as much as you get out of it.
Frances has been supporting a group called Applaud NHS, and they've released a amazing charity single. And there's a little teaser on Facebook. We'll put a link. Russ will put a link in the show notes. Have a look at Applaud NHS, raising money for the amazing legends that are doing fine work in the NHS at the minute. So thanks, Frances, for doing that. That's really good work, and we really appreciate it. So, question of the podcast again: what is the best thing about your best friend? Feel free, if you haven't commented already, to comment live. Andrew Berwick said he's always there to bounce ideas off. John Cook said his cute furry forehead. Now, I'm assuming, John, you mean the dog.
Yeah.
You might mean Mark, but let us know. Answers on a postcard on that one. Mike Christie said, my best friend's never given up on me. Dawn said, they love me for me. Alison said, my best friend is my biggest cheerleader and always positive. We don't see each other much as she lives
Up
north. And I love the way that Alison's put OOP, like up north. But we always pick up from where we left off. Cassie Dane said, we don't see each other enough, but whenever we do, I can just be myself, no judgment. We constantly laugh. I know she would be there for me in a heartbeat. And she could drink as much red wine as me. And that's a challenge. The fact... What? The fact she's been there... Heidi Ball said, the fact that she's been there for me through everything, good and bad. We don't see each other as much as we used to. But when we do, it's like we've never been apart. She doesn't judge me, even if I'm in the wrong. And she listens and waits for me to calm down. She is awesome. Roberta White said, my best friend... has been there for me through good times and bads, and has always given me loads of support. Serena van der Meulen Taylor. Now, do you remember in episode 1 we really butchered Serena's name? Welcome to the butchering. Go on, then you do it.
No. Oh, you want me to read the thing?
No, I want you to read Serena's name.
No, I'm not doing it. The fact that I don't want to be disrespectful and butcher it.
Okay, she's been respectful, Serena, by not saying the words Van der Meulen. Go on, you know you want to. Go on and read the thing.
Okay, the fact that for 27 years she just always knows that what I need to make me feel better. Whether it's a cuppa, chocolate, card, or to get...
bladdered.
Okay, I only get to see her a couple of times a year and nothing ever changes. I love you, Claire Swatman, if you if you can read this
And
tag.
Claire has reciprocated with some love. So thank you, Serena and Claire, for getting involved. Hazel Gray said she's always there, good times and bad. I can call her any time and she would drop everything for me if needed, as I would for her. Richard Jones said best thing about his best friend is a silly sense of humour. And Trev said they would be there at the drop of a hat for me, and I would be for them without question. And that
It's the end.
is the real end. Thank you.
Over.
It's over. Thank you again for getting involved. We loved doing this. Have a lovely Tuesday, and we'll see you next time.